I have a home office and decided to have some light renovations done. I looked into hiring a professional contractor, but my wife wanted me to hire her brother. I was hesitant. One, he's a handyman and not a contractor. Two, he doesn't have insurance or even many of the tools required to do this job. All of the contractors I spoke to are insured, and he had to borrow my tools. Three, I had to pay him money up front to cover the cost of materials, while the contractors all had accounts with suppliers, so they didn't require any upfront money. My wife talked me into it because he needs the money and has a family. We decided to take a vacation while he was going to do the work and came back to a mess. The carpet was soaked and moldy. Nothing was done. Materials were everywhere, and it smelled like a swamp in our house. Apparently, when he drilled into the wall, he didn't locate and hit the water line. He only noticed the leaking when he returned from lunch, and the carpet was soaked. He tried to find the shutoff but couldn't, so he tore into the wall to try and stop the leaking, which made it worse, on top of which he couldn't stop it either. He panicked and called a coworker, who came over hours later and found the shutoff. Instead of calling us immediately, he left the house as it was, and it was out of sight, out of mind. The repair costs ended up being triple the original cost. Since his family lives on Section 8 housing and other government assistance, we decided last year to start saving to take brother-in-law's family and wife's parents on a beach vacation as their Christmas gift. We told them about it a few months ago, so everyone could get their calendar in order. I told my wife we should cancel the trip and apply that money to the cost of the repairs. This has caused an argument between us. My wife said it's unfair to punish her nieces, nephews, and parents since they've been excited about the trip and could never afford to go on their own. I argued we can't afford to eat the cost without it affecting our budget. She loves our nieces and nephews and says I'm unfairly punishing them. We're supposed to go to her parents for dinner tonight, and she forbade me to cancel the trip or even bring up the subject. I can't look at her stupid brother without calling him stupid. In what world does your wife live in that it's okay to pay a family member to damage your home, pay for repairs caused by a family member, and then pay again to reward said family member? Tell everyone the truth, that the damage your brother-in-law caused means you can no longer afford to pay for the vacation. You aren't punishing them. You aren't suing and bankrupting him. It's solely that you'll still have to pay out of pocket to cover the damage he caused, and that means you can no longer afford it. You are not the idiot. Jesus. This is it, OP. Your wife loves your nieces and nephews. Does she not love you? You just got punished for her faith in her brother. She should be apologizing and helping you make up for the loss. You're being used as an ATM by your wife's family. The damage must be repaired, and your brother-in-law isn't competent enough to do it. You have the money saved, so you have to use it. Mold in a home is a serious problem. It sounds like her whole family is poor, and when you're the well-off sibling, you tend to feel obligations. I have to nip that crap with my wife all the time. It's pretty annoying. She has one sibling who never has money to eat or pay bills, but always has money to go away on vacation. She had to learn that if they got money for vacations, then they didn't need money for bills. Sorry, dude. You have a wife problem. From the description, it sounds like more than $10,000 in damages, flooded floors left for a week, holes in the walls, etc. How about just postponing the trip for a year or two? Tell the family at dinner that it isn't in the budget this year due to the repair cost. You don't have to lay blame anywhere, though. Everyone will have their own opinion as to who's at fault. You have to fix your office. That's the priority. You shouldn't have to go into debt over a gift. Good luck. I, 21 male, am a twin. We can call my brother Matthew for anonymity's sake. To get ahead of some of the most commonly asked questions, we're identical. We do things in sync sometimes, but I don't know if it's any more common than two people who just spend a lot of time together and adopt each other's mannerisms. The twin intuition thing is real. We have two older brothers, and I love them, but I'm not as close to them as I am Matthew. We've never been away from each other for longer than maybe 3 days. We don't technically live together, but we stay in the same apartment building for college and often just fall asleep at each other's places. My girlfriend, 24, and I have been long distance for basically our entire relationship. I'm busy with school and music that me and Matthew work together. She lives about 2 hours away and is busy with her job and her grad program. To make a long, somewhat confusing explanation short, she's staying with me for the summer, working shorter hours remotely while she fulfills an in-person grad school requirement at the university I currently attend. Most of her grad program has been online, but this section is not. It's her capstone project, and doing it during the summer basically means she's doing it in double time, so she really has to buckle down and work. I get that. Still, the way she's been treating my brother isn't cool with me. She often rolls her eyes and shuts herself in our guest bedroom when she comes home and sees that he's over. We smoke together and screw around on our guitars together while we work on music, things she used to be fond of, but now seems to hate. The final straw came last week when I got a phone call while I was out of her freaking out. She had refused to let my brother in the apartment, so he used the key I'd given him, and she lost it. She said her boundaries weren't being respected and that I needed to kick him out. Instead, I told her she needed to leave. She's furious, saying she can't find somewhere else to stay on such short notice, and I'm screwing up the most important class of her life, saying I'm too codependent on my brother and that I should have never told her she could stay when I knew she needed to work and I wasn't allowing her to do so. The dude legit has his own apartment in the same building. Why the heck is he harassing your girlfriend? Brother has no need to be in your apartment when you're not there, and you two can easily jam in his apartment to give her some privacy. You are the idiot, for you and your brother. Honestly, if I were the girlfriend, I would have felt completely unsafe. I'm really confused as to why they can't jam or smoke, or whatever, in his brother's apartment, in the same building. It seems like the easiest solution to all of this, and not once did either of them seem to think about that as a remedy for giving this poor girl some space, as well as peace and quiet, to work on one of, if not the biggest hurdle of her college career. OP is completely clueless and an idiot. I have to wonder if OP really didn't want to have a girlfriend around for the summer, sharing his apartment, so he's subconsciously sabotaging her. Smoking, playing music, allowing brother to come over anytime even if he's not at home? That does not sound like someone who's even trying to be supportive of his girlfriend. Sounds like they changed nothing in their habits, even though the girlfriend is staying there for a specific duration and reason. Next time you have a girlfriend, you should probably be more explicit about your expectations. My younger teen daughter, May, has been dating this boy, Felix, same age, for a couple of months now. He's a nice boy, really polite, but I can tell he most likely isn't from a well-to-do family. I don't have a problem with this though, because as I said, he seems like a good person and that's what counts. He was going to take my daughter out for ice cream earlier today, and while he was waiting for her to get ready, he asked me if he could have some peanut butter. I said, "Oh, don't you want to save room for the date?" But he explained he didn't have enough money to buy something for himself. He's always paid on their dates as far as I know. This poor kid was so hungry, I could hear his stomach growling. I offered to give him some money, but he said he wasn't allowed to accept cash. I then asked him if it'd be all right if I took him out for dinner with my daughter, and he called his mom and she said it was okay. When May came downstairs, I told her the new plan. She was upset and thought it was lame that I'd be with them. I said I could just sit in the car and she could call me when it was time to pick up the check. But she was having none of it and said she was going to go out with some friends instead. It was a little embarrassing since she dumped him in front of me, but I moved on and asked Felix if he still wanted to go. He said yeah, so I took him to Wendy's. We had a good time, but when I told May where I'd been, she was furious. She accused me of liking her boyfriend romantically and that I shouldn't have gone on a date with him without her. I reminded her that I'd given her that option and she'd refused, but she said that didn't change anything and now she can't trust me with any of her boyfriends. I tried to tell her I was not interested in her boyfriend, but she just ran out of the room. I feel bad for her, but I don't think I did anything wrong. Am I the idiot? The family of my first serious boyfriend ended up feeding me a lot. They'd joke about whose turn it was to feed me. Life at home sucked, and it was an everyone fend for themselves for food thing. I wasn't allowed to have a job or license before I turned 18. I appreciate his family for making it a regular family outing and ensuring I was fed. It would have never occurred for me to ask, so thank goodness they offered. OP, you are the greenest green flag that has ever flagged. You are not the idiot. Well, except for the parenting of her daughter. This kid is going hungry to pay for dates, and her daughter seems more worried about appearances. OP, it seems like you may be raising an idiot. You need to stop protecting her from the reality of life. I'm sorry, but she currently sounds so friggin' oblivious to the hardships of others, and awful. And I say this as a mother of a teen daughter who would never behave this way, or even think these things. I'm always horrified by these stories of apparent adults questioning their actions because a teenager had a wildly inappropriate and crappy reaction to some innocuous event. Like, come on, you fed a hungry child. Of course you're not an idiot. It terrifies me that people who are supposed to be raising teenagers can't tell when teenagers are being teenagers. I don't think your daughter knows what it's like not to have enough food to eat, and that's good. She shouldn't, but I think you should discuss poverty with her and maybe take her to volunteer at a food bank or something. This is a learning opportunity for her. I, 47, have been in low contact with my daughter, Noelle, for 3 years. I went low contact with her. A lot happens, but my last straw was when she was 23, stole my credit card, and racked up close to $4,000. There's much more to it, but that was my last straw. Anyways, I'm getting married. I've been with him for 10 years, and we're doing a very small gathering. My other 2 kids and my grandma, so a total of 8 people. Noelle is better now, got her life together, and we're talking more often, but I didn't invite her. I don't trust her not to pull a stunt at the wedding. It got back to her and she was mad. Long argument on both sides, and in the end, she called me an idiot. My kids are divided on this issue. I'm afraid she might get really intoxicated or try to get into an argument with a guest. I would hope she wouldn't try to fight someone, but that's happened before. I want an outside opinion. Am I the idiot for not inviting my daughter to my wedding? Not the idiot. You know your daughter, and the fact that your other kids are divided, meaning that some of them agree with not inviting her, you're justified in it. If a sibling also thinks their sister shouldn't be there, that's pretty damning. Rebuilding trust takes time, and if you aren't ready to have her at a high-stakes event, like a wedding, you have every right not to invite her. She broke your trust and had to work to rebuild it before you could fully invite her back into your life. You are the idiot, OP. Why do you think she'd pull a stunt? With one of the 8 people there? It's a low-key event with just close family. Presumably, they all know her and what had happened in the past. If you intend to ever repair this relationship, I feel like inviting her to your wedding is a step that would need to happen. If you're happy, never reconciling, do whatever you want. This is a fix-it-or-leave-it moment. Your wedding and your choice, but that choice will have long-term consequences. My father did not invite me to his second wedding as a child. He's surprised now that I've gone no contact with him since I turned 18 and was legally able to go no contact. It's been over a decade now. I know way too little about OP's life to judge this question, but she should know that this decision might end her relationship with her daughter forever. I, 32 female, have a niece, Laura, 18. When I'm traveling, I usually ask her to stay in my house and take care of my cats. She's sharing a room with her sister, Teen, at home, so she's always happy when she can have some privacy at my place. I always leave her groceries and some cash for emergencies, and she can do anything as long as the house is clean when I get home. The only ground rule is that she can only invite people over by letting me know, and she introduces them to me before any of her friends come over. Nothing formal, just to see who I'm letting into my house. We've never had a problem with that until now. I'm on vacation, and I got a call from my neighbor that he saw a stranger in my garden. I checked the security footage, and it turns out Laura's boyfriend, 25, Dan, whom I've never met, is there for at least 3 days. I called Laura to ask how she was doing. I also asked if she invited anyone over. She said no, without hesitation. I told her I saw Dan on camera. Radio silence. Then she ended the call. I called again, straight to voicemail. An hour later, she called me back, said that Dan had just quickly visited her, but it was no big deal because he's a good guy, so just enjoy my vacation, and ended the call again. Now she's supposed to go on vacation to my lake house for a week in August. After her call, I wrote a message that since she didn't stick to the rules, lied about it multiple times, and hasn't even apologized, she can't go to the lake house because I don't trust her to go there unsupervised. She called again, screaming, crying, calling me heartless, ungrateful witch, telling me I ruined her summer just because she didn't stick to my stupid petty rules, and she'll never do me a favor ever again. Since then, the whole family's been bombarding me with calls and texts about how I could treat Laura like this and why I have a lake house if I can't even let my niece use it. I tried to explain that everyone's allowed to go there as long as I know I can trust them. But Laura lost that now because she lied to me and still thinks she's done nothing wrong. If she had at least explained the situation and apologized when I first asked, I wouldn't have canceled her vacation. My mom thinks I'm right, and it's about time that Laura learns her actions have consequences. But most of the family still thinks I'm an idiot. So, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. She knew the rules. She broke the rules. She was angry that she got caught breaking the rules. She's a teenager and having a very teenage reaction to the consequences of her own actions. She needs to learn to take responsibility. But I'd be making a list of those on Laura's side and banning them from the beach house, as they've proven they can't be trusted either. Yep, she absolutely was planning to bring Dave to the lake house too, and was not planning to introduce him first. I hope you have a security system there too, because I wouldn't put it past your niece to still try to go and break in. I wouldn't want a 25-year-old who's dating an 18-year-old alone at my lake house property. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, family drama aside. The relatives can let her stay at their lake houses if they feel like she deserves it because of family. Oh, they don't have lake houses to lend? Too bad. I honestly would have waited until I got home to tell her about her canceled vacation. She's in your home with your possessions, and most importantly, your cats. It scares me to imagine what she could do in her rage and disappointment. Even if she didn't destroy your property, she could accidentally let your cats out, right? Is no one else bothered that she's dating a 25-year-old? The age gap makes me suspicious that the niece may have also hidden a lot about her boyfriend from her family too, and is using OP's place to be far more serious with this guy than she would admit to. OP hadn't met the boyfriend. How much of the niece's parents met him? As for supposedly ruining the niece's vacation, well, she's probably ruining OP's vacation right now.